Okay, all right. We are now finally recording. Let me open up the PowerPoint. Good. Gonna work. Yay! I love it. All right, let's go to the first page, and there we are. Appreciate your patience. I was thrown off a little bit by the internet going down literally as the second I turn on. Okay, so officially welcome to Raising Your Wealth Consciousness for Higher Sales Conversion. And for those of you that were in Tampa with me back in November, this is a kind of a review and a part two for those of you that were in the session with me, which was really, really exciting. I loved it. It was wonderful to meet all of you. And I'm probably just going to, start from the beginning so that you get the information in its entirety. And it's also for those of you that are joining us that were not in Tampa, all right? So that we have all of the information for everyone. So I want you to get settled, have your, coffee, tea, water, whatever you need. We're going to be here a full 90 minutes. I've got lots to cover. I want to make sure we have Q&A for you. And if the technology gods are good with us, I'm also going to be able to allow you to open up your video and be able to talk with me via video rather than just the chat option. And if you're able to see on the bottom, there should be a panel, and it may be a hidden panel, but once you scroll over the bottom, I believe that's where you have then the chat box and so forth. And so I have the controls to unmute you and turn you into a video option rather than just typing in comments or questions. All right. Okay, so looks like I've got a couple participants. Awesome. And yeah, good. So let's get started. So it's time to master your wealth and power. Women and creatives, or I should say women creatives, right, are rarely trained to be powerful with money. Yet, right, we all desire to what? And are expected to earn a good living doing what we're passionate about. But there's a big disconnect, right? Big disconnect. So today's webinar and my special invitation later that it totally addresses this very condition, right? And it offers, and I'm literally offering you lifelong solutions, which is what I coach every day, year round to all my clients. All right, so as creative women, it seems that integrating our love, right, of design and planning and creativity and artistry with making a six-figure and multiple six-figure and beyond income and revenues sometimes is not in our favor, right? Due to the influence of one, how we were raised, right, about money and what society, right, imprints upon us and falsely dictates about the behaviors, about mindset, right, and about habits with money. It's like, what's up with that, right? And so that's what I found out years ago when I was then coached by my own mentors, and it was a huge wake-up call for me. Because as creative entrepreneur myself for over 20 years, one of the most common challenges that I see over and over with my mentoring clients, with my business that I've been doing for 10 years, and especially with my wedding industry clients, is that they love, as you love being in your creative zone, right? And using your talents. But when it comes to integrating, and this is really kind of my sweet spot for you, is that when it comes to integrating your relationship with money, right, making a good, decent income, knowing your numbers, right, while running your business, there's often a miss, you're missing the mark, right? And it causes doubt, causes frustration, and it causes, right, kind of overwhelm. Because what happens is we're trying to, right, monetize our love of artistry, creativity, all of the things that go into our life as a creative. But where's the money, right? How do we make that all literally mesh and integrate together? And that is then the whole purpose of why I'm doing this webinar for you and the one back in Tampa, the session. But it's also the cornerstone of what I coach. All right. So I remember, I cannot coach this unless I've gone through it myself, is that I remember, of course, goodness, what it was like, right, to literally be in that same space 12 years ago, right? When I loved being in my creativity and running my entertainment PR firm. And God, it was so much fun. But you know what? I too had a challenge making sense of having equal footing, right, with money and how I interacted with it and how I ran my business, right? So I was also in that space where I was really trying to fit the puzzle pieces together. And I often ask myself, how do I not neglect, right, the importance of making a profit while I loved being a creative, right? So the good news is obviously that's the answers today. So we can begin integrating your love of creativity with being a savvy woman business owner, have a solid relationship with money without the usual fear and worry and doubt and lack and frustration, right? And sometimes guilt and sometimes shame and confusion, okay? No more of that. In fact, on a side note, we definitely operate very differently than a man with money. Yet we've been, no fault of anyone's, we've been trained and influenced to operate like a man with money. And it's like talking Chinese to us. It does not work. So one of my specialties is being able to literally mentor and coach women how to make sense of money that really, hits the mark for them. Right? There's a whole different type of approach and languaging and acknowledging and validating that men just don't understand. So anyway, this is one of the main reasons why there are many under-earners or women that are frustrated, if you will, in their income and in the revenues because of, again, our old style way of training us, right? How to operate with money, which tends to be more like a man, and we don't operate like a man, right? With money or anything else for that matter. All right. So today is a beginning lesson, right? It's a beginning lesson of raising your wealth consciousness, which means how you think, feel, and act with money, right? How you think, feel, and act with money so that you become more confident in sales, right? Hence, sales conversion in the title of the webinar, and in your business and in your life. So I'm extracting some top breakthrough tips from my signature wedding and event industry and creative entrepreneur program to help inspire you to begin thinking, acting, and feeling differently, right, about money and empowering money conversations, hence sales. All right. So this process is called transforming your money relationship. And it begins with your willingness to change and the courage to see what's been holding you back, okay? So my intention today is igniting something in you that you didn't know was asking to be expressed, right? And later on the webinar, I will open up, right, for Q&A for some stimulating conversation, and I'll be coaching you, so you get some good coaching today. So I want you to jot down as we're going along here. I want you to jot down some of your ideas, some of your breakthroughs, some of your thoughts. I'm also going to give you a couple questions for you to answer during the webinar that you can then share with me when we get into Q&A. So get your pen and your notes, notebook or laptop or whatever it is that you're writing with. Anyway, plus many of you emailed me asking what could be the next step after today, and I created that for you to consider. So I'll be offering you some special next steps in a program, so stay tuned for that information. But let's get into this. All right. So I am Marla Diane, an international success coach and business strategist for creatives and creative entrepreneurs and professionals who are committed, literally committed to upgrading, right, to the next level of life and business, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, right? My 10-year-old mentoring company and brand really speaks to visionaries, right, and thought leaders that really seek to be change makers in their industries, right? I want people that are literally change makers. They're looking to rise above the rest, not be in the pool where everybody else is. And a lot of my coaching speaks to that. So very, very specific type. And I know that's you because you're on here. All right. So I bring over 30 years of entertainment PR, talent management, branding, entrepreneurship, personal growth, professional development, mentoring, coaching, and philanthropy. So I've been around a little while. Kind of bizarre at times for me to think about that. I've been doing this for, oh my God, 30 years. So, all right, here's what I want you to start thinking about, and that is, who do you need to become? And how much do you need to raise your wealth consciousness in order to achieve your business vision and your desires, right? And your dreams. Sorry about that. A little ahead of myself. Because it's not just a matter of taking action, right? Today we're exploring your mindset, your habits, your behaviors, right, with wealth consciousness, right, and how it affects your conversion, right, rate in the sales process, all right? Now, and that's all because how you do money is how you do everything, right? And what this means is I help you use your relationship with money as a catalyst for change in all parts of your life. In other words, how you operate, how you feel, how you respond, how you think, how you act regarding money, right? Because money in my world is a mirror for all parts of your life and how you behave. So the good news is, right, kind of a rising tide lifts all ships. So for example, if you lack boundaries with money, not charging what you're worth, caving into discounts, right, wanting to bring in, those, by the way, those are people that are bringing in their own money story to the table and to the conversation with you. And that is, you'll most certainly have challenges with other boundaries in your life. So if you have challenges with boundaries around money, you're definitely going to have challenges with boundaries, right, in other parts of your life. No worries, it's no fault of your own. Hang tight, I'm going to explain that. And the whole reason for this is that the common denominator, obviously it's you. It's how we operate, and this particular saying and this principle comes from how you do one thing is how you do another. Right? And so how you do money is how you do everything is the catalyst, all right? I want you to, though, think of your relationship with money like a very close friend, right? This is one of the mindsets that women understand, men don't. So I want you to think of a relationship with money like a close friend that you really care about, right? And that's how I aspire for you to be with money, which is attentive, right? Caring, respectful, conscious, right? Blessed, kind, you name it. All those actions that we do with close friends, right? We like to be attentive. We like to be conscious. We like to be caring. We like to be helpful. All of those things with a close friend. That's how I want you to be with money. Money is such a blessing in our life, right? So as I said, it's like a rising tide lifts all ships, is that when you let go of old money habits and behaviors and mindset that are not serving you, right? Like, for example, avoiding looking at your numbers or your bank accounts, or not having, again, good boundaries, right? Or owning your worth. Right? That was one of my issues before I recalibrated my relationship with money. So instead, I want you to live more often, right, in trust, in faith, in gratitude, appreciation and respect with money, trust me, you will have a different life. And that is what's happened with every one of my clients as a result of going through various programs, and you're getting a good beginning today. Okay. All right. So today again it's a total profound wake-up call about recalibrating a new normal, right? A new normal with your money relationship and how to have those empowering conversations. So let me point out to you, here's a sampling. Again, I don't want you to feel bad about this. This is about being conscious, and being conscious then allows you to be aware and then take action to change it. So these are super common. You're not alone. And there are obviously solutions, which is why we're here. But I want you to look at, here are the common symptoms of money relationship challenges that dilute your sales results. Because remember, the whole premise to this webinar and my desire to have you make lots more money, lots more revenues, is your sales conversion. And it all happens right during the sales process. Now, here are some of them. Avoidance of any kind with money, lack of boundaries, as I mentioned, relationships, you're tense or negative when talking or dealing with money, people who owe you money, right? That's a common symptom for someone that could use some recalibration, right, with their money relationship. No bill pay systems, you kind of pay as you go, payments are late, paying for dinners, gifts, and more just to be liked, right, by people, because we tend to be people pleasers, undervaluing your talents, under-earning for years, and afraid to increase your rates or ask for a salary increase if you're working for someone. This one right here, ladies, the last one, that's probably the biggest challenge, is about asking, right? Being afraid to ask for a higher rate and stand behind it. We're going to talk about that today. Okay, so yeah, no worries. So here's some wealth consciousness tips. Write these down, do a screenshot of this particular slide, whatever you need to do. But the key to attracting the higher paying client, not be afraid to ask for your real fees and stand for your worth in money conversations, right, is that you must upgrade your wealth consciousness first, right? First, if I need to go grab, hold on one second. I am going to, hold on a second. Okay, let's see if this will, yeah, let me pause. Okay, very good. So make sure that that did go back on. Hold on a moment. Okay, good. All right. So back to what I was saying is that the key to attracting, right, the higher paying client is to, and not be afraid, right, to answer your own fees, etc., is that you must upgrade your wealth consciousness first. It begins here, ladies, right, and then it goes here, right? Is that in the sales scenario, we attract who we are. So if you're attracting too many tire kickers, which I mean people that are just concerned about price and then they kind of move on, right? They're discount seeking, low paying clients. It does reflect on some level your wealth consciousness, right? And then in addition to a marketing strategy, which is a whole other conversation. But literally, we attract who we are. So if we're attracting not the ideal clients, one, not only are you not specific in your avatar, in other words, your niche, do you really know who that ideal client is? But even more importantly and first is that your wealth consciousness is being reflected in the types of people you attract, okay? So creating a new normal with your wealth consciousness, okay, a priority. Obviously, there's more than today. You're on this, so obviously you want to make it a priority. You're on this webinar. But beyond today, there's more than just this, and that's what I'm going to be offering you later on. Okay. All right, let's see if this is going to go. Okay, now we have challenge with my... You gotta love technology. I'm sitting here trying to move the Sitting here trying to move the slide, and it's not going. Hold on. There we go. Jeez. All right. See, even someone that's been in business 10 years can still have challenges with all these things because technology, we don't have a lot of control of it, do we? All right. So my creative mission is this. Is to raise the mindset of this industry, and I mean any industry, and develop leaders who are role models, right, of mindset, dignity, a healthier money relationship that empowers you, operating in your genius zone, a role model of courage, a role model of kindness, a no excuses attitude role model, integrity, compassion, collaboration, not competition, and creativity. I am here to literally, this is my mission, right, as a mentor and a coach for creatives. And I take this very seriously. And I'm very, very grateful to be able to be in a position to do this and to be here with you and all the hundreds of other people in the last 10 years that I've been coaching. So I have obviously plenty of client stories. You can find those not only at my website under results, but I'm going to share with one story today. It's a wedding client in particular, and it really demonstrates the power of raising your wealth consciousness for higher sales conversion. All right. So here's the story, and I'll be sharing with you her picture and some information in just a moment. So her areas of personal and mindset growth were this: charging her worth, no more under earning. She was really literally in a place of she was stuck and she couldn't figure out how to raise her revenues and so forth. She also wanted to build a relationship with her numbers, right? Instead of avoiding and not knowing really what was coming and going out of her business. And she'd been in business, I believe, 5 years at this point when she came to coach with me. So she was literally, and these are her words, not mine, and she's approved in sharing this. She's got the testimonial on my site and so forth. And that is, she realized that ignorance was not bliss, right? Ignorance of not knowing her numbers, not knowing what her revenues were, not knowing what her sales were, and so forth. She literally didn't know what she was bringing in. She was guessing at it. So here's the story. As we were in one of her coaching sessions, and I was having her describe to me her version of what affluence was, right? Is literally, what did it mean to her? What did affluence and wealth mean? And she literally looked at me in our session and she said, I don't know how to answer that. She says, I don't even know what that would be like. I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. I can't even envision what it is. And based on my knowledge of what her background was and her imprint from her childhood and so forth, it made perfect sense. In fact, it was probably one of the first people that were that honest about it, if you will, and answered that question that way, because I do ask that often. So fair enough, I said, I believe that. I believe in you, and I believe that that is the case, but we're going to turn that around. So what I did is I gave her this assignment. And the assignment was, I asked her to create, in the moment with me, a savings goal, right? A bold savings goal, right? She didn't need to share it with me just quite yet, but to have that written down. And then what she was to do is she was to then go with her husband, or I should say go to her husband, who was incredibly supportive of her and very, very proactive with her and wanting her to do the coaching. And I said, I want you to go have some money meetings with your husband. I want you to initiate your very first, I call it kind of a coffee meeting. I want you to really go away from the house, just take him, have the kids. She has, I think, 3 kids. Have those kids babysat. I want you to go with him, and I want you to begin a conversation with him about what he makes in his business. He was also an entrepreneur. She didn't know anything. She literally had no idea what he made. She had no idea if they had a savings goal. She had no idea of what money was coming and going out of her household, and she'd been married a few years already. So I said, please go ahead and initiate that meeting, sit down with him and ask him, what's your savings, right? And all of those other details. And she said, all right. She says, I know he's been really kind of hoping I would do this at some point, so I'm sure he'll be willing. So guess what? So she came back, right? So 2 weeks later, came back to our our session, and I asked her how the meeting go. And she said, you're not going to believe this. She says, but you know, she says, my life has changed forever. She says, now I understand that obviously ignorance is not bliss. And not only was, you know, her husband incredibly open to go and having this meeting, but she says, you know, that's that savings goal that I wrote down that I was hoping at some point to reach. She says, we're already there. My husband has been saving that money from his business, and I didn't even know it was there. And so now we are, you know, partners, if you will. We have a better partner mindset. We are going to continue with twice a month these meetings. And now I realize how much I was missing out on really a lifestyle that I could have had. And he just was, you know, he was hesitant to talk to me because I would always turn the other way and I wasn't interested. So, say the least, her life has changed, you know, amazingly. So here is Jillian. Jillian Rose Kling is a photographer in the wedding industry. And here's her quote. In fact, here is then the sales conversion as a result of her wealth consciousness that was changed in the program with me. She was a private client. And then as well by doing these various new habits and behaviors around money, is that she says, you know, after 5 years owning, having her business, she was feeling discouraged and stuck. She was having a hard time booking clients and so forth. And she was giving away a lot of her work. Her business, she said, my business decisions were based on fear of not having enough money, right? Wealth consciousness or work. And a good friend of hers, which was a current client of mine, referred her to me. And she initially was hesitant, like, how could she help me? Well, after our first call, she says, I knew that she was exactly what I needed. Halfway through the coaching program, she literally were booking her dream couples. She went from, right, 2 weddings to 10 weddings in 3 weeks. That, ladies, is wealth, right? Consciousness, right? Raising your wealth consciousness for higher sales conversion. So I did, as she said, gave her the tools and direction that was needed to overcome her issues and her money confidence, right? Love her. And to this day, she's, you know, doing well. In fact, she even came back after the first program to move into the advanced program because she wanted to anchor in much of what she had already learned. Okay, beautiful. All right, so what I want to say about Jillian and about you is, you know what? It's totally possible for you as well to have that type of transformation, that type of life change, right? Because trust me, if it can happen for Jillian, it can happen for you. And I do see this every day as I'm coaching, right? Again, Jillian is one example of hundreds, right, that have changed that. Okay. So I want to move into this personal growth principle, and that is personal growth always precedes business growth. Let me say that again. Personal growth always precedes business growth. And what that means is, right, we're going to up level, right? You're going to up level you so that then your business follows. Because it's you behind the wheel with the business. It's not the business directing you. If it is, we need to change that. But my point is, when we up level, right, that is personal growth, habits, behaviors, mindset, is that we make decisions differently on a daily basis, right? We also know we've outgrown our fees and we need to raise our rates to be that high paid expert without the fear of turning people off and attracting them the higher end client. In other words, women tend to fear raising their rates because they're not going to be able to get clients. It's completely the opposite, and there's a way to strategically set that up, which I'll be talking about in a few minutes. When we up level, right, it's who we choose to hang out with, right, at events. that we're seen at, right? And we will no longer allow tolerations to be acceptable. That's what happens when you up level habits, behaviors, mindset. So I want you to ask yourself, if your business is needing attention, growth, change, right? Don't first look at the next best email program, marketing strategy, or social media app. You really need to ask yourself, right, in what way do you need to change, up level, break through your comfort zones, right, to make that shift happen, okay? All right. Because really, ladies, that's where the rubber meets the road, is that we literally have to take a sharp right turn, okay, in our business, how we operate with our business to be more fulfilled personally, financially, spiritually. And it begins with us personally, right? That personal growth. Okay. So I'm going to share now my story before we go into the questions, right, around pricing and staying firm on your pricing and so forth, and in that sales conversation. So my story is this. I was born into a very creative family. Every one of us to this day are in a creative, literally a creative career, business. We're all entrepreneurs. In fact, not one of us not one of us are employees. We're all creative entrepreneurs. Excuse me, everything from screenwriter, costume designer, author, chef. I was a publicist. I'm a writer. What else? My aunt, film producer, theater director. My uncle, in the music business, musical contractor. You name it, all creatives. It's in me. I get you. I get creatives. I understand how you operate. And I love helping you really honor your worth as a creative. So anyway, I spent 22 years in the entertainment industry as a publicist, the red carpets, right, the celebrities, the media events, getting clients in the media. And this was all before social media. So I was doing traditional PR. And it wasn't until, right, 2006 when Facebook started coming on the horizon, the landscape. And that's when I started, after 20 some odd years, to get antsy and wanted something bigger, more, I'd say, more meaningful, right, to affect people's lives. And because of all of the change that was going on around us, intuitively, I knew I needed a change. And that's when I went into and found a mentor to move into coaching and mentoring, personal branding, how to turn yourself into a brand, like I was doing for the entertainment industry with these visual and performing artists. I was also married for 8 years, and as you can see, this is my son, Taylor. He's out in Denver, Colorado. Super proud of the guy. He's in real estate investing and development. I raised him in a very, forward-moving, inspiring environment. He was a high achiever even as a young boy, and I knew I had my work cut out for me. So I was constantly helping feed his mind around his abilities, and I always held him in that space. So was married, then divorced after 8 years, became then a single mother, and was a single mom for, up until he left the house. And I also ran my own PR agency. So within those 22 years, 13 of those I ran my own agency so that I could be home to raise him. And then I also overcame and healed from breast cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2003 as I was running my PR business. Taylor was, I believe, about 12 years old. And talk about a big wake-up call. That was it. Is I thought I was this poster child of health and positivity, and I got slammed with a breast cancer diagnosis. But thank goodness for my spirituality, my mindset tools, and so forth. It got me through, and it set me up for not only a newer platform, if you will, to excuse me, to have my career on, but it obviously humbled me a whole lot. But what happened is the gift and the challenge in that was literally I became a volunteer for Susan G. Komen Los Angeles affiliate, which is a breast cancer foundation. For 6 years, I served on the board, and I also was their speaker chair. And so back then, when I was in PR, I hadn't even thought about being a speaker. And that speaker chair, which I wanted to do because I wanted to influence and inspire women to be proactive about their health, as I spoke in the county. I spoke in Los Angeles County to audiences around my survivor story as well as the Komen Initiative. So little did I know that that speaking was going to lead me then 7 years later to now a coaching speaking career. See how the universe works on that? So that's the gift in that challenge. So yes, as I then moved into coaching, mentoring, and have been doing that for 10 years. These are various photos of a lot of my wedding and event industry clients and some of my actual workshops and such that I've done here. So I literally had several transformations. And by the way, it's super important, ladies, to know that in your business, you are going to come across probably several transformations as you evolve. Speaking about personal growth is important, is that I've evolved 3 different times in the last 10 years, not only my brand, but obviously me, myself, which is what instigated the brand makeover. And one of those important changes that I had was last year in 2017 when I needed to recover my dreams. I went to my coach, spent an entire day with my coach, and we recovered my dreams and planned a whole new, if you will, life and approach to how I was doing my coaching business. And I got to achieve one of my lifetime goals, which was I spent a month in Florence, Italy. And if you notice, there's a lot of Italian theme to a lot of what I do. It's because I have a love of Italy. And I spent a whole month, first time ever in Italy, in Florence, and I did a photo shoot there. I worked from there. I created a laptop lifestyle business, which is exactly what I wanted, so that I could travel and do what I love to do, which I aspire for you. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm thrilled today, grateful that I have that opportunity to travel the world, do anything I desire in my business and take it with me. And I even went back to Italy just this September, 2 months ago, and spent 2 weeks there. All right, so let's now start with your first money breakthrough. Okay, we are just right on time. So here's what I want you to do, is I want you to take out a pen and paper if you haven't already, and I'm going to have you answer this question, all right? I'm going to have you answer this question, and then I'm going to have you bring it up in our Q&A time so that we can talk about it, because this is super important. But I'm going to first take you through this. This will be your first opportunity to recalibrate, okay? Recalibrate your money relationship, okay? All right, so it's called priority values. Priority values. What I want you to do, and those of you that have already done it, just kind of go through this with me, is that I want you to, on your paper, I want you to put on the left column personal and on the right column business, okay? And I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to put this on pause, and I'm going to let you go ahead and write out, this is what I want you to do, is I want you to write out your top, let's say, your top 5 values. That is what you value the most in your personal life and in your business. Top 5 values. Values can mean anything from, honesty, integrity, family, health, spirituality, financial independence, kindness, compassion, you name it, all right? You know what a value is. So go ahead. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Go ahead and do that, and I will get back to you. So go ahead and write those down. And then I'm going to tell you what the step 2 of this process is and why I'm having you do it. It's pretty profound. All right, so go ahead. Exercise. Okay, give me a second, make sure my recording is good. Okay, good. All right, very good. So let's shift your consciousness around money. And there's another reason why we're doing this too. All right, here's what I want you to do is I want you to look at your lists, your personal and your business priority values. Where is the word money on your list? Where's the word money on your list? Now, this is the shift. All right, we're funny creatures, us humans, and that is that we talk about money, right? We talk about it all day long, and we do every day, all day. We're all working, earning a living, right? Money's in every part of our life, but we're not taught. We're not taught. We're not imprinted. No fault of anyone's, but we're not taught. We're not imprinted to value money, right? Like other things in our life. So my guess is, because this is what happens every time I do this exercise with anybody, including myself the first time I did it, is that money is not even on the list. And if it is on the list, it's like usually way down in the bottom, right? Usually. Now there's some people absolutely that have, that kind of got it right off the map. But let me tell you a distinction now. Here's what people will put on their priorities about money. They'll put prosperity, that's cool. They'll put financial independence, that's good, right? They'll put wealth, that's good. It's all good. They'll put whatever, financial freedom, whatever it happens to be. But let me tell you the distinct difference between that and money. That is a result of money. It's not money in and of itself, okay? So you can have that still on there, but it's money, right? We're talking about money relationship, right? Just like you have a relationship with a human being. Is that our relationship with money or money is not one of our top priorities because we just haven't been influenced that way. So here's what you're going to do, and this is where the shift happens. You're going to put money, right, the word money, in one of the first 3 positions, top positions of your personal and your business lists. And all that means is you move everything down. You don't replace it. You just move everything down. So if you're going to put money in number 1 position because you're now valuing it, right? You're going to, or I should say, aspire to value it. And you may not be there yet. Is that it becomes number 1 and then everything just moves down to 2, 3, 4, etc. Same thing on the business. If it goes to number 2 position, then everything below that goes, follows. So go ahead and place money in one of the first 3 positions of both lists. Now, here's what starts to happen when you do that. Some people may go, hallelujah, somebody's finally given me permission to make money a top priority, because otherwise that wouldn't be the case. Or our feathers get ruffled. Oh my gosh, I can't put money as a top. Oh no, that's going to make me greedy. Or, oh no, that's not correct. I can't put that before religion, or I can't put that before my family. Well, here's the thing, and those are the beliefs that are starting to come up, which is what we're looking to recalibrate, right? Is that I did say that you can put it in position 1, 2, or 3. So if family, religion, you name it, is important to you, then it goes before money. But money must be in one of your top 3 positions. So I want you to think about this, and you can bring it up in the Q&A section in a little bit, because I'd love to know how this affected you. Did it ruffle your feathers? Did it start bringing up all your beliefs around money? And actually, oh my gosh, making money front and center in your life. Okay, very good. Because here's what I aspire for you to believe and recalibrate to, because this is the truth, the honest God's truth. And that is, please treat money as a blessing, okay? Respect it, treat it kindly, pay attention to it, right? Heal your relationship with money so that you can be empowered and use it for good and feel confident having it, right, and using it, right? And of course, as I said, giving it away as well. So it's a blessing, ladies. And it's also, I want you to understand this part of it too, which is the kind of spiritual part of it. And I'm a big believer in I coach universal law, which is that we live in an energetic universe. Everything is made of energy. Money is not exempt from that. Money is a very high energy because it's a blessing. So in its original form, it's an energy before it lands in our checking account or in our pocketbook. Okay, money, right, is an energy, and it vibrates incredibly high. Okay, vibrates incredibly high because of what it does for our lives. Okay, so that's the beginning of recalibrating your very first money experience, is that shifting, right, from all of the beliefs that you may have and have been imprinted upon from childhood and society. Money really is a blessing. And I want you to think about this too, on all the denominations. Doesn't it say, in God we trust? Right? So it's a blessing. All right. Let's move on now to, okay, let's see if I can get this to work. All right, hold on a second. Sometimes this likes to, there we go. Okay, good. All right, so now I'm going to move into the actual pricing and sales questions. Here's how I'm going to do this, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the answer to these questions. And these questions, by the way, came directly from my clients. These are the most popular questions that I get asked by my creative entrepreneurs, my wedding and event industry clients, you name it. So I turned this into a webinar because these are the same type of questions I get asked all the time. And I know they also are in your mind too. So let's do this. So I'm going to give you the answer. You can take some notes. There are no slides with the answers. I'm just going to be giving them to you. So take some good notes. You also obviously have the recording. Okay. All right. So the first question is this, right? Whew, gosh. Is that what are the recommended strategies for remaining firm on pricing? So the real question, right, that's not being asked is this: am I worth what I'm asking for? And do I believe in my own worth and my own value? So when someone says, what are the recommended strategies for remaining firm, the keyword firm on my pricing, really what's going on here is, do you really own that worth? And do you own, right? Do you believe that you can get those specific rates that you're offering? Hopefully they're higher. And that you stay firm and don't allow somebody to make you cave in. So here's some answers around this. The fast answer is, don't buy into other people's money story, right, while you're in the sales process. And everybody, again, no fault of anyone's, everybody brings in literally their money story to the sales, right, conversation. And their money story, much like ours, if it's not recalibrated, it comes from some of it lack, fear, doubt, getting the best deal, seeing what they, you see where I'm going with all this? They bring their money story. And ladies, their money story has no jurisdiction over your value whatsoever. So by you being confident, you being empowered with the rates you're offering and being firm on them and not caving in, right? You're literally taking a stand for what your value is. And the right client is going to respect and honor that, and they're going to sign up with you, or they're going to enroll with you, or they're going to hire you. The ones that have stuff to work on around money, they're not going to be your ideal client. Okay. So don't buy into the money story. The other part of the answer to this, right, and these are some tips to write down, is that we're under the same question, number one. Here's some tips, and that is a sales funnel system that qualifies your potential clients will help you avoid this very issue about staying firm or not. Okay, say that again, is a sales funnel system, right, that qualifies potential clients to even have a conversation with you, right? That will help you avoid that issue altogether. Because the way that I coach my sales system is that there is absolutely no more, right? Asking for discounts. All right. Another tip is that they must qualify, as I said, to have a call with you by you having a form on your website, right? It's a form with specific questions, qualifying questions, so that they need to fill that out in order to have a meeting with you, or, right, or you can do that over the phone and ask them the same questions in the beginning, okay? Please do not tell prospects all about you and your pricing in the first 15 minutes of a phone call because they've asked for it. Ladies, I want you to think about this. This is kind of a funny analogy. Do you do that? In other words, do you give it all up? And when you date, remember when you were dating or are dating, when you go on a first date with somebody, do you give it all up in the first date? No. No, of course not. It's the same thing in sales. You're developing a relationship, okay? Please do not give away everything that someone's asking, especially if they're asking your pricing. They have to qualify, right? They need to qualify for your time, and they're based on the questions that you're going to ask them, one being budget, and two, and if you're in the wedding industry, what venue they're at, they're going to have their wedding at. They'll definitely tell you and give you a good idea whether they qualify for you or not to have a meeting. Because accessibility to you, right, is literally helps build your value. Being accessible to everybody and anybody does not. All right, there's lots more to that, but that's one of the top tips on the being accessible. So, excuse me, your focus that is only in having a first conversation to qualify them, and then you invite them to then a more detailed phone call or video meeting, right? If you want to do it in person, that's fine. I don't recommend it until you actually are having them sign up with you or they're already a client. In the sales process, you can do video, you can do Zoom video. It's fantastic. Or you can do a phone. Okay. If they also ask for your fees, I'm still under the tips. If they ask for your fees through Facebook message, through a text, anything other than doing your sales system, which is right going into either the contact form on your site or via a phone call, mini phone call with you. If they ask for your fees, you know what? You can answer it with a range. Well, my fees range from $2,500 to $20,000, right? And you basically say, I don't know where it's going to be with you because I don't know what your real needs are, and please go ahead and fill out my form, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're doing is you're leading everybody to, which is why it's called a sales funnel, to the beginning of your funnel, right? Let them be a warm lead based on them filling out either the contact form that has qualifying questions, or you schedule a quick phone call. Okay. So again, you offer the range of fees. Okay. Looking at my time here. Good. All right. Excuse me. Also, please change this habit. This is another tip. Please change your habits where you talk about money. This is a hard and fast rule in my world. Ask any one of my clients, and that is never text or email, right? Like anything about money, right? It's always a two-way conversation, respectful conversation. Never use text. I know this sounds so bizarre because our life is all about texting, but I want you to really think about this. You have no power in your conversation. You're literally giving away your power if you start talking about money in a text. It must be a respectful, on phone or in video or in-person conversation. Please don't email. That's a whole other conversation, okay? And you probably have questions about it in Q&A. Okay. Let's move on to number 2. How can we determine if we're properly priced? So ladies, it's a percentage of closed sales. What you're looking for is about 75% of your sales meetings to be closed and them hiring you. You don't want 90 to 100%, and here's why. Is that usually means you're too low priced and everybody is going for it, right? You always want a higher rate that attracts the higher end market, right? Who's willing to invest, okay? And if you're priced correctly for that market, right? It doesn't have to be super affluent market. If you want to, fantastic. If not, there is a middle class, if you will, that can afford your fees, okay? And your pricing is befitting of that market. And if you go anything lower, now you're attracting, right, not the ideal client. So you ideally want about 75% closing rates, right? Because if not, everyone's going for it and you're not high enough in your rates, okay? Very, very, very tricky strategy. So it's the sophisticated client who understands value versus price, okay? The sophisticated client understands value versus price. On a side note, I hope you're writing down questions for a Q&A because it's coming up in a few minutes. Okay, now I'm going to move to number 3 question. What are good strategies for effectively increasing pricing at periodic intervals throughout the year? Again, these are all questions that came directly from my clients when they were being coached, okay? All right. Here's the answer to that. You should always increase your rates, right? At least 10% for inflation and the cost of living every single year, ladies. I don't know about you, but every year my electricity rate goes up, my car insurance goes up, what else? My you name it, I just notice, cable, you name it, internet, everything goes up every year. So do you, right? Your rates need to go up. Okay. However, I want you to caution on this. The success of this, of raising your rates, okay, is dictated again by what? Your own wealth consciousness. If you don't believe that you can have that particular rate, and this is where the evolution comes with raising your wealth consciousness. If you don't believe you can have that higher rate, it's going to show up in your sales, right, in the sales meeting. Your confidence is not going to be there, your belief isn't going to be there, and people are going to feel it, okay? All right, so are you at a mindset, right, that you believe you could achieve that, right, higher rate? Right? If not, obviously you have some work to do. So let me ask you this question about that is, could you confidently sell at a higher rate and not flinch? So ask yourself this. This is one of the testing, one of the tests that is of your wealth consciousness. And that is, could you confidently sell at a higher rate and not flinch and not be in fear or doubt, right? Which is really common. Okay, so again, I want you to share some of your comments about this when we go to Q&A. Do you also have any fears around your ability to serve your clients at that higher rate? Okay, and if you do, you got some important stuff to work through. Hence, right, why we're here in one of my specialties, which I love to teach. Okay, another tip around number 3 is, who do you see around you? Friends, colleagues, right, mentors, leaders that are living their vision and claiming their worth. I know you have some people that you watch either on Instagram or that are around you or that are in your circles of influence. Use them as inspiration, right? Use me as an inspiration, you know me, okay? So also another tip around number 3 is wealth consciousness is also very affected by proximity. And what I mean by this is you're typically making revenues and income close to the 5 people you hang out with the most. Probably heard of this before. If you haven't, this is a good one. In other words, choose who you hang out with the most very carefully. Because our revenues, our income, our wealth consciousness is literally represents the people we hang out with the most. I know, that's a tough one. Excuse me. So that's why, in this case, higher level programs, masterminds, creative roundtables, things that I offer, things that other coaches offer, That's why hanging out with these types of people that are going forward and going in the same direction, right, will help you raise your game. Okay? All right. Very good. So, respect your relationship with money for higher sales conversion. This is the last piece where we go into the two last pieces of this webinar and the Q&A. Respect is a really big deal about your relationship with money. New habits of money, respect, and wealth consciousness are this. Go ahead and do a screenshot. And of course, you have the recording. Number one, selling is not sending an email, right, to someone with your rates and hope they're okay with it, and then you end up chasing them to schedule a call. That's not respecting the relationship with the person and the relationship with you and your brilliance and what you're capable of. Okay? Selling is not done, as I mentioned earlier, it's not done via text, Facebook message, or any other device. It's a respectful, dignified discussion on the phone, in person, or on Zoom, so that you have an empowering money conversation, right? In this case, sales, because you cannot expect people, right, to be in a relationship with you via an email and you hope that they're going to like your rates, right? That's not how to run a cash flow driven high six-figure or even six-figure business. Okay. All right. Okay, very good. So before we go now into Q&A, because we're just on time, it's now 10 after 1. We're going to 1:30. So it's a full 90 minutes, as I said, and so far so good. Before we go into the Q&A, here's what I want to do is I promised I would give you, right, the next step option to help you transform your money relationship beyond today. Because remember, today I was giving you an overview, I was giving you tips, I was giving you literally consciousness to start thinking about, okay? But those of you that have been asking me, what's beyond today, what's beyond the webinar, that's going to help raise your wealth consciousness, increase your sales, help you be definitive on your pricing, right? Having a stronger self-worth, identifying your ideal clients, okay, and how to have empowering money conversations, is that I invite you to, okay, this is specifically made for you and anyone that you want to pass on to that you think could use this also, because I have created a 6-week live, Zoom program called Money Transformation. 6 weeks to transform your money relationship for higher revenues, more confidence, and a thriving creative business. So there are literally 6 weekly 75-minute group live video sessions. So it'll be you and colleagues. And it's every Wednesday from January 9th through the 13th. Okay. And you can go to marladiane.com, DIANN.com/money-transformation. You can go look at that webpage on your own. And I'm going to say a couple things about it right now, and then we'll go into Q&A, and I will go take down the webinar, the actual PowerPoint that is, and we'll have our Q&A. So here's the important pieces to know about this, is that I aspire for you to have a blessed, obviously thriving, abundant relationship with money so that you're rewarded well for what? Your passions and your creativity, just what we started out today with. Because I want you to have that sweet spot. I want you to be able to get paid well, right? Feel confident, feel empowered, feel like you're making a difference in people's lives, and getting rewarded financially well for that. And it's got to begin with your relationship with money, right? And how to recalibrate it. So this program is for those that are ready to upgrade, right, your relationship with money so that it's a, rich, confident relationship, not saddled with fear and worry and doubt and lack and shame and all those things that unfortunately we've been influenced upon. It's also for you, the entrepreneur, that desires to identify where your money blind spots are, right? What's going on in your life, and where is it that you do have these money blind spots that are literally kind of silently robbing you from your self-worth? I know it was for me. I did not own my value whatsoever. And it wasn't until I had my coach and coaches teach me, and then I took certification courses to teach this to you, because I wanted so much to help women really be empowered with their money, because I'd gone through the same thing, and it was not a comfortable situation at all. I can't tell you how many times I gave away my power with money, not only with men in relationships and in my marriage, but also in my business. Okay, so I can't coach anything I have not gone through. It's also for the entrepreneur that wants a simple formula for discussing money, right, between spouse, clients, right, colleagues, you name it, right, so that it's empowered. It's also for the entrepreneur, who wants to discover and define your genius zone. And your genius zone is your highest path activities. That's the key to having a very solid business, okay? And it's also for those that really want to define clear, intimate knowledge of who your ideal client is. And I walk you through all of these details, right, in the program for 6 weeks, right, together as a group, okay? So yes, it's money transformation, marlaDiane.com/money-transformation. You can read through all the details of the program. Here's what I want to offer you as a 24-hour incentive, and then we'll go into Q&A. And that is this: the first 5 to enroll, right? And this is going to be available for the next couple weeks, but those first 5 that enroll will have a one-on-one private 60-minute Zoom coaching call with me to review and design and plan your 2019 revenues. It's a $500 value. You don't have me one-on-one in the group. As powerful as a group program is, and I love group programs, you do not have the access to me one-on-one. So the first 5 that enroll in this, okay, will have that one-on-one time with me and be able to really review and design and plan your revenues. So let me give you real quickly what the investment is, and then you can see that yourself on the website. I made it incredibly affordable, everybody, because it's a group and I want this done fast for you, starting off 2019 with a really great start. All right, so option 1, as you'll see on the website, on the webpage, paid in full, good until the 31st. It's $697. That's it. $697. That's it. Investment in you and your business to make and on your way to 6 figures. Okay. Again, that's good till the 31st. After the 31st, it goes to $797. So it's a $100 savings. Option 2, for those of you that really want a payment plan, and I'm happy to do that for you, is that it is a $299 deposit, right? And then there are 2 more payments of $299 on January 11th and February 1st. So I've broken it down into 3 payments for you. It is a little bit more than the full rate. The full rate is the best rate. For those of you that really want to jump in and you'd like to be able to have a little more cash flow, that's it. So it's $299 deposit and then 2 more payments of $299. Okay, and those are good through the 31st, and then it goes up to $333 for the deposit and then 2 other payments of that. Okay, all right, done. Okay, let me get out of, let's stop sharing this. Hold on a minute. Okay, good, excellent. And now I'm going to click on that. Love it. Okay, good. All right, so here's where you have the opportunity, ladies, to ask me any questions you want about anything I covered. Especially I want to talk to you about your priority values and where you're at with it. Anything that I covered in this. that really hit a chord for you. So I'm here, and here's how you can do this. You have a choice of, excuse me, either typing it in the chat. So if you scroll down the bottom in that hidden kind of dashboard, it says Q&A, and you can go ahead and type in what your Q&A is, or in the chat. There's a chat down there too. So you can either do that, or I'm more than happy and would love to see you, so I can I can actually turn your video on so that we can see each other and we can talk. Okay? All right. So very good. So why don't you go ahead and type in. Let me know that you want to definitely talk with me, ask some questions. I'm here. Don't be shy, because I want you to know that we all have challenges with money, and we can all learn from each other. Okay, nothing to be ashamed of, and so forth. So go ahead. It looks like I have. Oh, fantastic! There's somebody. Hello, gracias. Hello, Eliana. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Aw. Do you have a question for me that I can answer about the webinar? Eliana, is that correct? Eliana? I hope so. Ah, terrific. Okay. So if you have a question, Eliana, I'm more than happy to either answer it. You can type it, or I can turn your video on and we can see each other. So which is your preference? Yeah. So it looks like we have Danielle, we have Jordan. Would love to hear from you, ladies. I'm here to help. Mm-hmm. Questions, comments? You're so welcome. Do you have anything that was a breakthrough for you? Anything that really stood out that you just want to share, that you kind of took you out of your comfort zone? Okay, very good. Is there any possibility to receive any material? Material about what, Ileana? I have tons of material. Because I think you just came on, and anybody that is registered for, gotcha. Oh, you're in a connection. Oh, so Ileana, here's what's happening, and here's the good news, okay? One is you're gonna get the recording of this. Yeah, it's okay, honey, not to worry. Is that you as a you registered, so you're gonna get the recording of the webinar so you won't miss anything, okay? And also, I offered a program that you can, yeah, I know, yippee. I also offered a program. It starts in January, and I talked about, I'm not sure if you came on after it, but it's a 6-week program that you can opt into, and it will be in the webinar. It will be in the follow-up email that's going to have the recording. So you'll have everything you need in the recording. So just look for the email. But it's a 6-week program, Ileana, and it's about your money relationship. And it will be done through Zoom. It'll be done just like we're doing here. And I'll be taking you for 6 weeks on a weekly call through your relationship with money and sales and so forth, okay? So not to worry, you'll have everything in your email. Is there any question, Ileana, that you have at the moment around this topic? Anything that you have that you wanted to ask me before you got to the webinar around money? Is there anything at all? No? Ileana? Any questions? So ladies, Danielle, Jordan, any comments, questions? Perfect on my timing. I'd love to help you, and you've got me right here. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Anything from your sales conversations to not caving in to how to say your rates, how to raise your rates. Okay, hi Jordan. Awesome. Do you have any suggestions for a first response to a pricing inquiry? Yep, instead of sending, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes. So, and Jordan, would you prefer just on chat, or would you like to do the video? Okay, very good. So, as I explained here in the webinar, when somebody, so you're asking for a first response to pricing inquiry, right? So either they're emailing you, right? Or they're calling you? So give me an idea, give me the scenario. Are they emailing? Let's see. On WhatsApp. Yeah, either call, asking. Okay. Very good. So this is what I mean by what's important to qualify people. Okay. So either a call asking about pricing or completing our form online. All right. So here's how I coach you how to qualify people, right? To whether you want to work with them and whether they're appropriate for you or not. Is the form, and I haven't seen your form yet specifically, but you have to have a form on your website, which apparently you have one. And it's got to be qualifying questions. And one of the, or I should say, two of the qualifying questions for them to fill out is what is their budget for specifically wedding planning? So I know you're a wedding planner. What's their budget for wedding planning? And then obviously what's their overall budget for the wedding? And what venue are they going to have it at, right? If they even know at that point. What's going to qualify them for you to respond to them, right? To then schedule a initial phone call, right, about them. It's not to talk about pricing. It's not to talk about anything other than getting to know them, right? That's the next step. But they have to qualify. And so if they do not qualify as far as budget, that equals to your rates, and you typically want to have a drop-down list in that question on your form that says ranges, okay? And those ranges typically represent the ranges of fees that you behind the scenes charge, if that makes sense. So as long as they fill out the form, right, and they put in what their budget is, you're going to be able to see whether they are in your league or not, right? Now, if somebody still says, well, I don't want to fill out the form, I just want to know your pricing, say, I appreciate that, but in order for me, I should say, to really service you well, we need to then schedule a quick phone call so I can ask you some questions. And you're going to ask the same questions you have on your form. So you're either going to have them fill out the form, and if they don't want to follow your request, okay, they don't want to follow your request, they're not an appropriate client. And I know, working with the wedding industry, I know how hard that can be because there's a lot of tire kickers out there and all they want to know is pricing, and that is not acceptable, right? What you want are people that are going to take the next step, right? They're going to take the next step and they're literally going to follow how you run your business. Don't allow anybody to tell you how to do your business. And if they're not willing to fill out the form or schedule a very brief phone call with you so you can ask them the questions, then they're not an appropriate client. I hope I answered that okay. And if they're, trust me, we're going to actually go through that in the 6-week program. I'm going to literally take you through how to do that. Okay, did that answer that question, Jordan? Very helpful. Good, excellent. Yeah, and in the program, as I said, the 6-week program, which I would love to see you in, I'm going to take you through all of those details on how to be empowered in the right form and all of those things. Okay, all right, terrific. You're welcome. So, all right, it looks like we have Danielle. So Danielle, I've been reading Think and Grow Rich. Awesome for your wealth consciousness. But I'm getting a lot of tire kickers in business, okay? a lot of pricing questions, and I've been able to qualify a few leads. Okay, I'd like to know how you qualify them. On 2 occasions, it got to the contract where they booked someone else. Should I tell them that the contract is only valid for 24 hours to encourage them to book? Well, okay. So that's a loaded question. That's a really, really good question. So it all depends on, and this is what's so important about the sales process, everybody, is you will not get to, providing that you've qualified them and they're ready to purchase, if you will, or hire you at a very special rate. And that rate's only good for a certain amount of days. Okay, I'm giving you a hint, and when I'm going to be coaching you in that program, is that when they book with you by a certain time frame with a special rate, or it goes up at like $1,000. Okay, so it's what you're saying here, Danielle, is on 2 occasions you got to the contract and they booked someone else. Number one, that I'm not so sure what happened between her saying yes and her deciding to go with someone else. Was it all done through email? Was it done through, I mean, there's so many pieces here that I don't know. But when you said, should I tell them that the contract's only valid for 24 hours with the rate that you're offering? Sure. I think that would be totally fine for the moment. But until I know a lot of the details and how you went about securing them or trying to secure them as a client, that's probably my best answer to that for the moment, is that the contract's good for 24 hours. I hope that helped, because what's really, really super important is that when you're offering them whatever, package that they're gonna take, it's only good for that rate's only good for a certain amount of days. And if somebody still decides without letting you know that they're going to go with someone else, then you know what? You literally have to thank your lucky stars that they weren't a client of yours. It just means they weren't a fit. Okay. There's several reasons, but I know that's one of them. Okay. I hope that answered your question, Mary. So, Ileana, if we are more expensive in the market, they really don't know the price. What other questions do you suggest to put in the form? Oh boy. If we're more expensive in the market, and they really don't know the price, what other questions? You know what? The other questions in the form, and again, these are things I'm going to be going through in the program. So, Ileana, the questions in your form need to be all the basics. It needs to be obviously name. It needs to be when is their wedding. It needs to be what's the venue they want to have their wedding at, or they booked there yet. You still have to have pricing on there. I should say not pricing, budget. Is that if they don't fill out what their budget is, then you get them on the phone and you talk to them about it. Okay. All right. Danielle, yeah, the majority was, the majority was done through email. Okay, so Danielle, okay, very good. Thank you for letting me know that. That's the main issue. And if you listen to what I was saying, right, you cannot sell ladies over email and text. It just is not acceptable. And so what happens is, and I know you haven't been taught that, and it's okay, it's no fault of your own, is that we automatically, in this technology-driven world, right, we think that it's okay to do everything over email. Well, selling is a relationship. And so what's happened is everything was done through email, Danielle, and you literally gave away your power, right? Which you're not alone. Until people get coached by me in this process, they realize all the money they left on the table because they did everything through email. So that's what the 6-week program is for, is that I'm going to be coaching you how to go about having a conversation. It's either phone or Zoom, right? Or if it's in person, that's fine. When you're selling, you don't sell over email. It gives people way too much opportunity to not be invested in you, your brilliance, your talent, and then they just keep looking. Okay, does that make sense, Danielle? Okay, let's see who else. Who else did I? Other questions. So Jordan, I answered yours. Danielle, I answered yours. Liana. Okay, good. Danielle, current marketing strategies are suggesting that it should be done through the medium. Yeah, I know. I've heard that dozens and dozens of times, Danielle, and that is just not right. And you know why? Because it's the whole millennial thing, right? I have heard other types of seminars with people in the wedding industry, and it's absolutely not correct that you're supposed to be responding to people and carrying on a conversation in sales through email if that's how they reached you. Here's how I would do this differently. If they reach you through email, then you direct them right to your online form, or you schedule a very quick, brief phone call, and you let them know ahead of time that the purpose of the call is to just get an idea of where they're at with their wedding, and then if it's appropriate fit for the two of you, then you go on and you'll schedule a call about everything else, right? So it's okay to email them back one time, right? Maybe twice if they don't answer. And that purpose of that email, Danielle, is not to sell. It's to literally get them in a conversation with you. So one, either fill out the form on your site and or get on a call with you so that you can then ask the questions that are on your form to qualify them. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, I really need you to understand, totally understand that what is out there, especially on Wedding Wire and so forth, and all on the other end, the not, it literally fits the common denominator. And I don't coach common denominator. What I coach is you to have 6 figures and above in your business, right? And the way that Wedding Wire and the Knot, as good as they are as resources, they literally educate the public to the common denominator. And the common denominator is somebody that typically can't afford higher services. Does that make sense? Right? So the only way, ladies, that you're going to be able to literally have higher sales conversion, the only way you're going to have higher sales conversion is to change your sales system. And your sales system must include a conversation. Please don't rely on email and texting to sell for you. It's not going to work, right? Or I should say, it's not going to work to the percentage that we want it to work, right? I want you to think about yourself when you're buying a high ticket item, because this is specifically, ladies, for high ticket items, and your services, which are really talented services, you're a high ticket item. You cannot expect somebody to make a decision to hire you that's anywhere from $2,500, which is a very low day of wedding, all the way up to $20,000. I'm going to say an average is about 12 grand. Why would somebody expect, and why would you even as a consumer, why would you buy a $12,000 service over email? Ladies, it's about wealth consciousness, right? When you have a high ticket item, anything that's over, I'm going to say $800 to $1,000, anything that's, let's just say $1,000, anything over and above that needs to be done in a conversation. You cannot expect email to sell for you. Okay, trust me. it's how this works for higher ticket items. Okay, because what happens is we put ourselves, when we do email for a high ticket item, we put ourselves in the same category as retail. And retail can be done at $50, right, over email, $100, $400, maybe $500. Sorry, your services are way too important and much higher ticket to be selling that way. Okay, all right. Okay, awesome. Any more questions before we sign off? Really super good questions, ladies. Thank you so much. Really good stuff. Yeah? Okay. All right. So terrific. Let me make sure on my chat and I don't have anything else that I may have skipped. No? Okay, good. You're welcome, Ileana. You're so, so welcome. So, okay, ladies, we're going to go ahead and end. This is perfect timing. I went over about 10 minutes, so that's terrific. Here's for the last part again, and I'm going to go ahead and type it in here. If you go to www. Right? I know big hug from Bolivia. Gracias. marladiane.com/money hyphen, I'm typing this out in the chat, transformation dot, whoops, money transformation. Okay, so there's the link to the 6-week Zoom program called the Money Transformation Program, where I'm going to walk you through 6 weeks. It's just one session a week on a Wednesday. And we're going to go through a lot of these details, and I'm going to take you through really working on your wealth consciousness, your ideal client profile, your genius, which is your highest payoff activity, and really recalibrate all of that so that you stand firm on your rates and you stand firm in your sales process so that you don't get pulled over here and that you literally are empowered in your business. Okay? All right, ladies. It's been wonderful hanging out with you. I really appreciate it. Look for the email later today. I will be sending out, my team will send out to you the recording of today, as well as then the link to the program. And remember, there's a 24, you're welcome, Danielle, is that the 24-hour incentive is that the first 5 to enroll in the program, I'm going to give you, we're going to schedule a one-on-one, 1 hour private coaching about your 2019 revenues, okay? And in the group program, you don't get me one-on-one, so that's why I'm offering that as the first 5, okay? And it's about a $500 value if you were to hire me, one-on-one. All right, happy holidays, many blessings. Thank you so much. It was terrific being here with you today, and I will see you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.